take 2. Movie Goblins. Welcome to Movie Goblins, where spoilers are always on the table. I'm Noel Olmstek. Across the table from me is Ben Leeson.
Hello.
And we are joined by our first ever guest on the show, Parker.
Hello.
Yeah. So I want you, like, you guys tell me about like your history, because like I met up with Ben like in November of like 2021.
Yeah.
Back when we were still wearing masks in school.
Good times.
Yeah. It was very taxing on my mental health. I'm sure it was for you as well. But how far does this friendship go back, guys?
2nd grade?
I thought we were in like getting ready for kindergarten or something like that, or maybe it was kindergarten, but we just didn't really hang out that much.
Well, yeah, we're.
But then 2nd grade came around,
and then
3rd grade, something like that, and
this story's great.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Ben can tell the story.
I've told the story many a time. So
and it's not accurate at all.
It is. I remember this clear as day.
Okay.
All right. So on the playground, standing around because I was a dumb kid, and I look over and I see a face, it's staring at me like.
They can't see that. It's a podcast.
It's a very happy grin.
Okay.
I guess.
And with piercing stare.
Yes. He's like kind of like a little, not stiff, but like kind of like he's just, there's my target. And then I was like, okay. And I move over somewhere else. And then I look over, it's like, oh, there he is again. And so this happens for a while, and then we're going back inside. And I'm sitting, and then I feel a tap on my shoulder. And I look over, it's Parker, and he goes, the first thing he ever said to me, I remember this clear as day. This is what you said. My parents let me watch Ghostbusters.
Sounds like the coolest parents of all time.
Yeah, they did. And Jurassic Park, and Back to the Future, and all the good ones.
And of course, my first thought was, wait, the song? Because I didn't know about the movie. I thought it was just the song. And then you invited me over to watch it, and then we got super into Ghostbusters for the past... till present, actually.
We've never ended.
Always loved Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Same here.
I made my own proton pack. I have a flight suit and everything. So
nice.
I bought the $400 Hasbro Pulse Spangler's proton pack. So yeah,
he probably likes it a little more than me. I will say.
I'd say a little bit more than me as well. I feel like he'd rate it a 5 on Letterboxd, whereas I would rate it like a 4.5 for me.
I guess I'd give it a 5 too.
Okay.
That's a hard one. I got to think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's when we met, and then we just kind of just kept going, and then that's the adventurous story of how we met.
Friends ever since.
Yeah. So we watched some movies tonight.
We did.
The first one being your pick, Ben.
Yeah.
Guillermo Del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah, I did.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that movie?
Oh my God, here we go. This is going to be a 6-hour episode. Okay, so Del Toro, well-known, Pan's Labyrinth. Actually, that was our second episode.
Yep, that was the second episode, was Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth, Pacific Rim, Devil's Backbone, Shape of Water. He has been trying to make this film since like 2002.
Wow.
Yeah, so because he grew up with like Pinocchio, like the Disney movie, the book, he had a bunch of actual like puppets he bought, and his mom was super into it. And of course, most studios aren't gonna be like, wait, you're going to a stop motion movie with Mussolini? What? No. And there's like actual death? No, we're not. No. So thankfully, Netflix swooped in at the last minute. He's like, okay, whatever. We're just throwing money at anything at this point. So he made it. I mean, the story. It's Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's a time-old tale, you know.
Yeah, but it's a little different. So in this one, Geppetto is an old drunk because his son got yeeted
by
a bomb.
By a bomb in World War One.
Yeah, which is sad because it wasn't actually trying to hit anything.
No, it wasn't trying to hit anything. It just
to
randomly hit the church. Yeah. That he was making a cross for. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so years go by, and this one tree he planted grew into a pine tree. And then one night, in a drunken rage, he chopped it down because that pine cone was the reason his son died because he went back inside to get it.
Yeah. Kind of poetic symmetry.
Yeah, and then of course,
and he buried the pine cone at the son's grave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like right behind it.
Yep.
And then which I love. Basically, Frankenstein happens. Like thunder crashing is like just violent. You know, it's not the classic Pinocchio you imagine. Like a gentle. No, it's
like
a drunken rage. He's like slamming nails into it. It's like, I will have him again.
It's generally like Frankenstein a little bit.
Yeah, it's
which is something that Guillermo Del Toro very much admires, is the story of Frankenstein. So meshing that together a little bit
with Pinocchio
into Pinocchio, yeah,
which makes sense because they're both like father stories and
yeah.
And that so what's great about this story is that when Pinocchio is brought to life by a wood sprite, it's not a fairy. He's kind of a little shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, he is a shit, except he doesn't realize what he's doing is like bad. He's like, "What's this? Oh, that's a hammer." Okay, and he just starts smashing.
And he's like, "I love it, I love it."
Oh, I love it.
He's so innocent. Though.
Yes,
yeah.
he's
That's
just
the best part about him.
Yeah, he's like 5 hours old, so he's a little.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the town doesn't like him because he's fucking scary.
Yeah,
he's kind of freaky looking.
And also fascist.
Yeah, also fascist. Kind of like,
oh yeah, by the way, Mussolini's in this.
Mussolini's. It's in
puppet,
the age of
puppet Mussolini. It's
a sight to behold.
Stop motion Mussolini is hilarious.
Which I know from Toro, he said, I wanted a movie where everyone acted like a puppet except the puppet. So that's why.
Kind of during World War II era Italy.
Yeah, fascism, because like fascism. Okay. After I saw this movie first time, I went down the Pinocchio rabbit hole.
I see.
I researched it. I was so fascinated. And the book, Pinocchio, the whole point is that obey. To make a good boy, you must obey your elders. Don't question anything. Which is fascism.
That's to an extent is a little bit of the story of the Disney version, right? Or
the Disney was different because in that story, like when he came to life, like he was just a good kid. He was just clueless. But like in the original book, Pinocchio, like he's a psychopath. He gets his father thrown in prison on purpose.
Oh, jeez.
And like he's set on fire a lot. He gets hanged and dies.
Yeah.
He dies a lot. So
and he dies a lot in this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in that one he actually felt like real pain.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the classic like scare the kids into being good kind of a story. So he took that idea of like obeying with fascism and like did the opposite.
Inverted that, yeah.
Like in Pinocchio, spoiler alert, he doesn't become a real boy. He doesn't flesh and blood. No, he stays a puppet.
But the whole moral of the story is that in order to become a real boy, you have to live just one life, which I guess could be a theme for this episode. Because
living different lives.
Living different lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a theme.
There we go. We got a theme.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, just going back to, so basically like Pinocchio leaves his dad to basically make up for what he believes is his fault, which it's not. And then he's going around and his dad's falling. The story's not about him becoming a real boy. It's about his dad becoming a true dad. That's the moral.
Yeah.
And
There's
the Ciao Papa song. Oh my god, I might cry if I.
Music is really good in this movie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Ciao Papa, Miru Papa. Oh my god, I'm gonna.
Oh Van. Oh Vanny boy.
I choked up a little bit.
Oh.
I'm not even.
Explain why you like that song so much.
That's a little personal. I don't know if I should actually explain it.
If you feel comfortable with it, that, of course.
That's a. If you have a theory, comment below. Send us an email and money at this.
Send us donations. We are setting up a Patreon.
Oh, no, we're not.
Nope.
But I will say, like, I saw this in the theater with my mom, and we were both sobbing. Like this is I felt very personally connected to this.
It's a very heartfelt. You can tell a lot of care and dedication was put into each frame of the movie.
Yeah, and I love going back and reading the first book because he added shit that was not in the Disney film. That they seem like why the fuck are bunnies carrying a dead Pinocchio in the underworld? Like
it does seem. It seems like something that's very there's a term for a Deltorian.
Oh, I love that.
Where like it's just like
That
kind of like otherworldly thing that we don't really understand, but somehow we're able to familiarize ourselves with.
Yeah,
is with those bunnies. It's just like, okay, they're bunnies, they're rat. Like we can like
right.
identify them as like something that's otherworldly, but like identifiable to us as humans.
But that's from the original book.
I
like,
see.
Like the well, not in that way, but like the rabbits carrying the coffin was a way to like scare Pinocchio.
Okay.
But he incorporated things from the book that have not been used anywhere else. I don't think in any other version.
Mm-hmm.
And in the I have way too much to say about this movie, but the look of Pinocchio I love. I like.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Looks,
it's probably my favorite Pinocchio design ever.
He's got nails sticking out of his back. But he looks scary, but he's the cutest because
he's super adorable.
And like the cricket, it's genius how they like because the cricket lived in the tree and now he lives in Pinocchio because hey, that's my home.
Yeah.
What are you doing to my? Stop! Don't bring it to life. That's my home.
He lives inside Pinocchio.
He lives in his heart.
Lives in his heart.
So he is, and just oh man, Geppetto.
And
looks
also
great.
the cricket's played by Ewan McGregor.
The voice acting is so good.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett as the monkey.
As the monkey.
I was astounded
making only monkey sounds.
Yeah. There's a great story behind that because he did a film Alley, Nightmare Alley, like right before
Nightmare Alley. Okay.
Yeah, and she was like, "I love working with you. I want to do whatever you're doing next." He's like, "Well, I'm doing Pinocchio." He's like, "I want to be in it. We don't have any roles left. I mean, there's a monkey, but," and she's like, "I'll do it."
Yeah, I'll do it.
That's the actual like. I'm not like.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
So it's just like.
I'm sure Guillermo Del Toro is like one of like the best people to work with.
I want to hug him every time I see it.
Oh, he's such a jolly man. He's like a
God.
big teddy bear.
Oh yeah, he makes some really fucked up shit sometimes.
Oh yeah, but
I love it.
As he comes off as a very decent and humble person.
Yeah. But Pinocchio, like maybe one of my favorite animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly my second favorite of last year, his favorite movie. But yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. I'm trying to because I don't want to say too much about it because
It's more recent.
Yeah, and also I just don't want to take up 6 hours of. But,
No, we got all the time in the world, man.
Yeah, but I will say I've been trying to get Noah to watch this movie out for the podcast. But well, here's the thing. So we don't have like actual like streaming like at college. Like we didn't have Netflix.
Yeah.
So there's a few movies like I want to do, but we can't over the school year. And this was like, okay, I know we're doing this. This is top priority. So I'm also glad Noah liked it because I couldn't see what his face was doing. So I was like, I really hope he's not just like staring at the walls.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
I obviously didn't enjoy it. Like I obviously like didn't like love it as much as you did, but
Yeah,
I
of
still
course.
loved it. It was a great movie. Yeah.
It's you, Parker. Would you?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie before already.
That's right.
But, yeah, it's, I mean, definitely nice watching it a second time, kind of knowing what's going on. I love the wood sprite design. It just how like they're like this weird kind of ultraviolet blue color, and they've got like lion and like snake kind of
It's like a sphinx
features.
Their
features.
faces don't move.
They've got like
That was creepy.
it's like biblically accurate, like numbers of wings and stuff. I don't know. It's just and eyes all on the wings. Oh, it's just really cool looking.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because of the fact that I'm the thing about like the tale, like the Pinocchio stories that's been told a bunch of times and it's been told well, it's been told horribly.
Father,
why can't I go out to be on my own? I have the
Thank
whole
God for
world to
Polly
see.
Shore.
But the whole like idea, like the whole story, spanning far back is, well, as it's told theatrically, in film, going as far back as Disney's version of it, is very pastiche. It's just like, oh, a fairy came down and it's like gave him life, and it's just like, oh, it's all of a sudden came to
Gee
life.
golly willikers,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't mean
like-
to go into slavery.
Yeah, and it turned into a donkey. But this one, it's like much more. It's much more like it's grounded but cerebral at the same time. Where it's like, okay, it's not like your general idea of what a fairy looks like. It's like a wood sprite. Okay, so it's like what Parker said was that it's like they have like snake and lion features.
Yeah.
And originally, when you first see it, it's like these
just like
floating
floating eyes.
eyeball
It's like
things floating through the forest, and it's really cool. I love the look of it. And then the eyeballs are kind of floating over Pinocchio's body. The cricket comes up, and he's like, "Go away, shoot,
get away,
And
shoot,
then,
get outta here."
And then they kind of form they go on to the wings of this creature,
and then the wings like she like extends her arms and
yeah. They formed the
Little
sprite.
wooden boy made of pine. May you rise with... I have that whole thing memorized. But
I didn't realize that Pinocchio is because he's made out of pine. Like that's like
yeah, Pinocchio.
pine.
Oh my god, yeah.
I caught that. I was like, oh, okay, that's why.
Something I noticed the last time I saw this movie is that Pinocchio's like the reincarnation of the sun. That
Really?
died. Well, like so, like okay,
He's got a borrowed soul, she said.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, but there's also the part. So there's two songs. There's the first song you hear in the movie, which is "My Son,"
Yeah.
and then later on, Pinocchio is at the circus. My gum, it's the same melody.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I
I
didn't
caught that.
catch on
And
to
he's
that,
like,
no.
and he's like, how does he know that song?
Oh, okay, I see.
And so there's like little
Hints
I got goosebumps.
Little hints that he's the reincarnation
or
of
some
Carlo.
sort of like connection because
some sort of connection.
Yeah.
All while being his own person.
Yes.
But a little piece of Carlo is still there. Yeah.
Also, I will say, the author of the book, Carlo Collodi.
So
named Geppetto's son after the original author.
Gotcha.
Such a
Okay,
good-
that was definitely intentional. There's no doubt about that.
I will say something that I know you've seen this, and I think you've watched this. There's a Cartoon Network series called Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I love that show.
The guy who made that show helped make this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like
That gives it has a similar feel to it.
yeah, it's like an old kind of fairy tale, but there's so many great like the classic turning kids into donkeys. It's now like a soldier camp.
Yeah, to train kids to fight in World War II.
Those kids got nuked, bro.
Yeah.
Those kids probably died.
Well, there were no nukes in that. But
Well, I mean,
they
Yeah,
got
but,
bombed.
they got
for
like
sure.
bombed out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Ron Perlman as the kind of like the officer,
He's like
The fascist.
the fascist officer,
no
yeah.
son of mine.
And with the son, yeah.
Candlewick, played by the kid from Stranger Things.
Really? Was
Yeah.
it which
Finn
one?
Wolfhard.
Finn
Yeah.
Wolfhard? Wow,
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just oh man, it's one of those. It's one of those movies that this is why I want to make movies. It was one of those because I was excited. I love Del Toro. I really like the tale Pinocchio. Like in the movie, I was like, whoa, it's just whoa. It's beautiful. I love the fact that all the mythical animals are all blue. Like the cricket's blue. Obviously the fairies are blue. The rabbits are blue. The giant whale is like a very dull blue. So like that color kind of symbolism in Pinocchio, he glows blue when he's being brought to life. I just oh man.
It's very artfully done, and also just the painstaking work that went into making a 2-hour stop motion.
It is the
animated
longest
film.
stop motion film in history.
Yeah. Because my favorite stop motion film is Fantastic Mr. Fox, an hour and 20. This one is just crazy grand, and it's it goes over 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours, yeah, which is insane.
You know what? He had a quest.
Yeah, and this was a movie that was, if I remember you saying, it was decades in the making, right?
Oh yeah. So he first got the idea from there's a I feel bad because I'm just talking about Pinocchio, but so there was a version that was drawn by this one. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, but he drew Pinocchio weird and gnarly, skinny. It's the big nose, and he saw that drawing. He was like, "That's my Pinocchio." And he asked him "Why did you draw Pinocchio like that?" He's like, "I just imagined Geppetto being drunk." So that was his idea. And he talked about how that in that moment he got "Oh my god!" The sun,
Just
and
this whole story behind it.
yeah. So, yeah, it's totally well-earned Oscar, I think. Oscar for Best Animated
Oscar
Feature.
for Best Animated Feature, yeah.
I'm sorry about Puss in Boots, Parker.
No, that's okay. Yeah, Puss in Boots was my second favorite animated film of last year.
Yeah, but I cannot highly recommend this movie enough. In terms of flaws, there's some dialogue that's a little kind of weird, and also the song sung by Christoph Waltz. It's a little too auto-tuney. I could hear a little.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but even my complaints are nitpicks.
Meager, yeah.
Yeah, it's not
And the film itself is going to age beautifully.
Oh yeah, it's gonna age like fine wine. Yeah, I can tell like this is something that people are gonna show their kids. Yeah,
well, maybe not little kids.
No,
maybe
not little
but-
kids, but like definitely like of
10.
of like 10, 12, you know.
Yeah, not.
Yeah.
This is Mussolini. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's gorgeous. Like all the animation was done by a company called Shadow Machine, who did Moral Oral.
Oh yeah.
They did this one, the Shivering Truth, which is like a really weird Adult Swim show that's not a comedy. It's just a
really?
horror shorts
Wow.
with like dark humor.
I feel like I've heard that before, but I've just forgotten about it because it was
Yeah.
so long ago.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think they did Robot Chicken. I could be wrong, but
Okay, because Moral Oral, it was definitely made in the style of Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt. So the guys who, the same studio that worked on that made Robot Chicken also made Pinocchio. Which
I
is,
could be wrong about that. I might
could
want
be
to,
wrong about that.
but I mean, there's like 3 stop motion places left in the world.
Yeah.
There's that and like Leica and
Yeah, Leica.
the one in England that makes Gromit.
Oh yeah, Molson Gromit. Yeah.
Hartman.
Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, off topic. Watch this movie, please. Support it. And now he's like, I'm gonna do stop motion. I think he's doing stop motion Frankenstein. And,
Wow.
And also the one Mountain of Madness.
Oh, the Mountains Madness by Lovecraft.
Yeah, he's doing that.
Nice.
But in stop
Yes,
motion.
that's so cool.
That's so exciting.
Which is also like this old project he did that was canceled. Now he's gonna I'm doing it in stop motion now.
Yeah.
He wants to.
Absolutely.
So and he's doing something else I can't remember. But please support this movie. It's on Netflix.
Beyond that, it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie.
And support your stop motion animation studios.
Absolutely. Stop motion needs to stick
It
around.
needs to stick around since the days of radio. Well, it's like, stop motion works best when it's the sole thing that's driving a film. Like if it's just a piece of animation, like if it's a piece of animation that's driving the whole thing. Because when you see like an older movie, like a Harryhausen movie or like a movie with Harryhausen effects, or a movie from the 70s or the 80s like Star Crash or The Terminator.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's a RoboCop.
I don't think Star Wars did Star Wars have stop motion animation?
Oh yeah. The walkers in the snow.
Oh yeah, yeah. Excuse me.
Okay.
It was just like I was just thinking about that. Yeah, with the that was an Empire. Yeah. Just when you think of that, when it's not done correctly, or if it's not done with enough people, it will look very stilted and
Weird.
it will look very janky and weird. And for like the Terminator, it works because it's a machine. For Star Crash, it kind of works because they're also machines. But if you're like anime like monsters, it will look really weird. But I love Harryhausen. I love all that.
That poor guy did that all by himself.
All by himself. But I feel like animation works when it's a whole studio making a feature film that's like completely made up of like stop motion animated characters.
Yeah.
Like Paranorman or Fantastic Mr. Fox. I feel like that needs to continue because I love it so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Parker, how would you rate Pinocchio on 5 stars?
I'd say probably 4.5.
Okay. I give it 4.
I gave it a 5.
Nice.
The big 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Or don't. I'm not your master. You're your own free person. Whatever. I don't know.
All right.
Our next film
Next film we watched
is Parker's suggestion.
That would be Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Nice.
It was a solid watch the first time I saw it, I knew that Ben hadn't seen it, and I knew that Noah hadn't seen it, so I originally suggested watching Star Trek: The Motion Picture, but I think I was better off watching this one because it was like I said, the second most enjoyable animated feature of last year, and just there's so much about it that I love. The villain is just my favorite favorite character in years because he is just an irredeemable villain. It's the
dick.
Just an absolute. He doesn't kill anyone except for his own people. It's my favorite part.
He's just like a completely despicable creature.
Yes.
Right. So just like a plot summary. Can you give us like a quick kind of synopsis of
All right. So
the story?
Yeah. So Puss in Boots, famous cat character, Spanish-speaking orange tabby from the Shrek franchise. He basically is he's a he's your favorite fearless hero, and so which there's a song, and so he basically throughout the beginning of the film he finds out that he died, and then they realize that he's on his last life, and so his goal in this movie is to find the wishing star, which is able to grant him one wish, which he wants to ask for 9 more lives. And so he has to fight Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and Jack Horner from the stupid nursery rhyme that it's like little Jack Horner
Sitting in a corner.
sitting in a corner of the... Anyway, he stuck in his thumb, pulled out a plum, and said, "What a good boy am I." Anyway, it's a really dumb nursery rhyme, and he basically is like upset with the fairy tale creatures because they got all this fame and he had no magic or anything. So he's just a fat kid that was spoiled, and his parents had this my favorite line. He's like, I didn't have much growing up. I only had loving parents and a thriving bakery shop to inherit.
Millions of dollars a mansion.
Yeah, a mansion or whatever. But he was like, I didn't have much because he didn't have magic. And so he spent his entire life gathering magic so that he can have all the magic in the world, and that's going to be his wish, so that he can control all the magic and nobody else will have any. So it's just
because why not?
Why not? There's no other reason,
Yeah.
And he will kill anyone in his path,
including his own people,
especially his own people. He has no qualms about killing anyone that's like remotely involved with him.
A lot of people die.
It's probably the most gory and just
gory.
Not gory, but
gory
like,
there's
there's mortality in it.
A lot of dark humor.
Yeah.
The most death in a DreamWorks movie, probably.
Maybe Prince of Egypt.
Okay, all the first children
Children dying and the slaves getting stabbed.
Yeah, that's fair. But aside from that, this
3D animated DreamWorks.
For most people killed on screen in DreamWorks.
That's a good point because the kids weren't
guy gets turned to guy gets skeletonized in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So
there's also death.
And that is the secondary villain, I guess. But he's not really a villain at the end. But he's definitely
more or less like a threat or an obstacle that Puss must overcome in order to like.
It's more a figment of his kind of a thing he has to. Yeah, it's his own battle, kind of.
Yeah, his own internal struggle.
It's
to
not.
Like,
yeah, so like death is like a manifestation of his fear, basically, like because like.
Yeah.
Or like how the whistle.
However the whistle goes.
Yeah. And then like his hair all stands up, and death is just.
Like, he's like this big white wolf with red eyes, and he has 2 sickles.
He has the cloak and the poncho.
He's got a great design. Yeah.
He's really cool. Really cool.
Played by the guy from the show Narcos. If you ever watched that show.
Benicio del Toro.
No.
Narcos.
It was a show on Netflix. He played the main guy in that show. Pablo Escobar.
Okay, yeah.
He was great in that show. So.
Speaking of Escobar, one of his hippos got killed by a car recently.
Wow.
Yeah, he has hippos in like Ecuador or something.
Yeah, he ruined the ecosystem.
It's really sad.
Like he's like, I want my own zoo. So like he got hippos and like just.
Okay.
And then when he got captured, all the hippos went loose.
Well, he didn't he got shot.
Or that too. Whatever.
Oh,
I don't remember exactly what happened, but anyway, yeah. So all these hippos are loose in Central America or whatever, and but yeah, one of them just recently got killed by a car.
Oh my god.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Geez. Yeah. Anyway, so back to Puss in Boots.
Back to death.
It was a very fun movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the animation style.
The animation style probably for me is the best part about it. Yeah.
It's 3D animated, but whenever it's the action-packed scenes, it's very much reminiscent of Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Where it has 3D, but it also has kind of 2D
kind of lines,
and it's more choppy animation.
Choppy, like frame rate. Yeah.
So it kind of seems like everything's going much faster.
And like just more impact.
I feel like was there any type of like animation that was doing that before Spider-Verse or Spider-Verse? Like, oh really?
The Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes. Well, yeah, but like
so,
that was like a big like spectacle film, you know.
So basically, So the way that happens, that whole like choppiness,
Mm-hmm.
it's doing it on twos. So like most animation is 24 frames per second.
Yep.
24 individual pictures. But for animating on twos, it's 12 pictures that each one is taken twice. So the choppiness is literally like, if it's
the frame is for going from
Yeah.
frame to frame, it's like the same
yeah,
image.
and that's like there's no there's no difference between like that and Looney Tunes. Like it's the same
like
concept.
what era of Looney Tunes? Like classic Looney Tunes?
Yeah, like
or-
like
okay.
classic in theaters, kind of
like playing before. Okay,
Yeah,
shorts before. Okay.
Yeah.
So it definitely did exist before that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first it's cheaper to do.
They did that in the day because it was pragmatic, and with Spider-Verse it was a stylistic choice. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
And this is definitely a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great music. I like the score.
Oh yeah, the music's great too. Yeah. We were mentioning like how when Jack Horner does show up, there's like a beat drop.
Yes.
And it's just like it's so.
Because so he's just Puss is just watching through a grate, and so there's like this shadow that kind of moves into the room, and then you just see like this purple cloak or purple coat, and then you see a thumb. He turns it upside down, dips it in a pie, and it splats, and then he pulls it out, sticks it in his mouth. He's like, and then wipes it on his bib, and then.
He's like, good job or something.
And then it pans to his face, and it goes boom, boom, and then it just beat drops. And it's like it's like beatboxing in the background. It's so good.
That like what?
He's
You're
like, wow.
what is this?
Wow.
He's the most hard villain.
He goes hard.
He
goes
got
hard.
Very odd proportions.
Yes.
He has very skinny, short legs,
Tiny
a
mouth.
massive body, tiny mouth, massive head. It's weird,
It's just
but
odd. This
and
oddly
he's
designed
very
character.
he's very childish in his
Oh, like-
speaking and
Like,
just
no.
he was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you," and like he's just like he's got this
I don't care.
really big body and then he just like speaks out of turn so many times, and it's so good. I just love him as a villain so much.
He's such you hate him, but you find
He's-
him so funny.
You
He's
find
such-
him so like charismatic and funny that
He's
you
a
can help
brat,
him.
but
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
so funny.
He just has a lot of power, and well, like or okay, we got the map. You're gonna pay us with gold, right? It's like pay our weight in gold. Have you ever heard of the Midas touch? And he just kills a lady.
Yeah,
And she's like, okay, I'm leaving. Like the other one just takes her friend and leaves because gold.
I think that was her sister, but yeah.
Oh.
like
Okay.
because the sister actually like grabbed it, and then she became
Gold.
Yeah, became gold, and that was his kind of Midas touch thing. But
Great references to
Yeah.
fairy tales, but
so many good ones.
yeah, it surprised me because I didn't see the first Puss in Boots.
No.
I don't
No,
think a
I
lot-
I was
You
under-
don't
I was
have
under the
to.
impression you didn't need to.
You really don't
because I
have to.
know that was the first appearance of Soft
Katie
Paws,
Softpaws, yeah.
played by Selma Hayek. So, and there's I think Humpty Dumpty's in that or something.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Humpty Dumpty was the new villain of that.
Okay.
I just watched that like when it came out, and I
Oh, really?
never watched it again.
Oh.
It was bad.
was
It was not very rememberable.
It's kinda
Not
boring.
very memorable.
Yeah.
Not like this. It was
Yeah.
not like this.
So like, and you know, I love Shrek 2.
Yeah, Shrek 2's great. We watched that like
So I was
like a month back, I believe.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, I'll give it. You know, it got great reviews. And yeah, I was very impressed. It's just like there's great transitions from like
Oh yeah, I was about to mention that too. Yeah.
where like
Oh yes,
where
there's a great montage where
there's
Yeah.
several great montages.
several great montages, but one where it's just fading in between the characters, and there's one scene that became like this really big meme where it's Jack Horner holding an orb, and it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
it's a very hard image.
Yeah, there's a scene where like he's at this bar, he meets Death, he gets his ass kicked by Death, and he runs away, and like you see like the boots like up close, but the boots are like see through, and through the boots you see him running further away. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just
Yeah,
such a striking image, and
Yeah.
yeah.
it's like they just got really creative with this one.
Yeah.
They're like,
They pull out all the stops with this. They were just like,
Let's try
yeah, we're
whatever.
gonna try like we're gonna do a lot of cool things that we haven't done before. So and the Spider-Verse thing kind of took off. So we're
yeah.
gonna do that.
they try
Throw
that out a
everything
little
in,
bit.
you
And
know.
also, And the dog. We have to mention the dog.
I was just
Burrito.
about to do that.
Burrito.
We can't not talk about Burrito because he is, aside from Jack Horner, he is probably my favorite character in the movie because his story is so sad.
Oh
but
my
it's
god,
also
that's
so
the
funny.
funniest scene in the movie.
I was watching Ben's face when we were watching. I was like, because Ben is a very big dog lover, and when he was talking about, his family was trying to play hide and seek with him. They were so good at it, and but he kept on finding them. And so one day they put him in a sock with a rock and dropped him in the river. And then he gnawed a hole through it, and then he swam away, and then he never found his family again. And I was like, oh my god.
He's a sweater.
And then it's a sweater now. He's wearing the sock as a
I
sweater.
remember I was
just watching Ben's face.
because like it's funny, but
He
it's so sad. But I mean, he's happy, so whatever.
Yeah,
no,
he's
like,
fine.
He
yeah.
didn't understand. I don't think he knew what was happening. But,
and there was a
Oh no.
yeah,
and there was a thing where it's like nobody is so dumb and nice. Like
oh,
Yeah.
but he was just so dumb and nice
just
in the movie. Oh my gosh.
he's great. And
He's a
then-
great character.
But I love like the actual like main character, Puss in Boots, because he didn't have a lot of character in Shrek 2 or Shrek 3.
He was more of like a support. He was much more
like-
supporting
yeah.
character.
He's
you
kind
know?
of like he's the cool sword cat who just hangs out and sounds sexy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the
Antonio
gingerbread
Banderas,
man
yeah.
or whatever.
But yeah, but in this one they gave him like a very
Very
charming
good-
ego.
Yeah.
Like he
his id is his ego. you
yeah,
know?
he's a legend. He's
And-
the legend of Puss in Boots.
But it also kills his ego throughout
Uh-huh.
the movie, and it's really like that's the whole point of the movie is
he changes.
he changes and it's
actual character development.
actual
Yeah.
for a DreamWorks movie that's amazing.
I was and like
Has
and
that
I
not, has
believe
that
it,
not
too.
been like I haven't watched many DreamWorks movies since like the classic. So like, has that not been like a very good part of it? Or
Not so much to this degree. Well, like in the Panda films, like Poe
Yeah.
stays the same.
Yeah.
He just gets new skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like in Shrek 1, that happens a little bit because Shrek becomes less. But in this one, it's like a fundamental change in who he
And
is.
who he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Like because he's in this great cavern of like his past selves. Like you guys suck.
And all of them just get destroyed and
Yeah, and
it's-
then Death just comes in and is like, by the way, I'm Death for real. Like I'm not a metaphor. I'm actually the like Death.
I'm the real death.
death
Yeah.
incarnate. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Death is such a good design, but it's just Puss like fundament, and also you find out he was gonna get married to Kitty Softpaws, and he
and
never
then
showed
backed
up.
out.
But then you find out
Yeah,
she never
She
showed up.
never showed up
So
either,
it's fine.
So it's fine though. Yeah.
And but there's a whole scene I loved. Speaking of Puss, because after he gets scared shitless by Death, he just goes to this one crazy cat lady's house,
Yeah,
and
well,
it's
Lady
like a
Luna.
prison. It's like a Mexican prison.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't know about that, but like it's like a prison scene where like there's like these or like a mental institute kind of
Probably
A
more
little bit
mental.
more
like
mental
that, yeah.
institute, I guess.
Like
but
an elderly home.
yeah, but like
for
he's
cats.
like they're all like going through this same routine, and he's becoming like
Just
geriatric.
Yeah.
he grows a beard. He wears little booties.
And, like when he first shows up, all the cats are like super kind of scary. Like
They just don't like him.
yeah, they're like at him, but throughout it, they like he's wearing these mittens. He grows this long beard. It's like he's been there for years and
He
years.
just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, how long was he there?
I don't
That is
know.
a good. I would say my guess is like maybe a year,
Okay.
maybe a few months. That's
A few
my
months.
Yeah,
okay.
a few months I think, but
Okay.
but not,
definitely yeah, because there's just great parts where like he sees. He like starts going to the bathroom in the toilet, and the woman there sprays him with water,
Yeah.
and then he has to stand.
he's
in,
making food.
he's
and-
like
and,
standing in line to have to go to the bathroom in a litter box that everyone else has used. It's so unsanitary and so disgusting. But then he tries to make his own food, and then she
like a
sprays him
saucepan.
again after using a saucepan.
Kibbles.
And he has to eat out of a trough, basically. It's like a factory farm. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but it's so disgusting. But I just loved that kind of like I don't know.
Weird humor.
Yeah.
I would say like what like I would say like the gripe I have with the movie is that it does definitely feel like, okay, they did definitely have some like awkward like humor scenes in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like built into the DNA of a DreamWorks movie. Where it's like kind of like, okay, that brought down a few notches for me. Is just the fact that it's innately going to have these these humor, like these comedic scenes, like comedic banter scenes. Where like, oh, the good, the bad, and the ugly scene, where it's like, okay, they're obviously riffing on the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And just like some stuff where it's like it kind of feels like shoehorned in because they felt they had to do it because they're DreamWorks, you know. So that
I mean, the whole ending like sequence of them doing the whole like tribute to good, that didn't feel like they need. I mean, it didn't have like the music. It was just
no.
It just showed their eyes looking at it.
Definitely had like a little bit of that
Yeah,
like
it was just-
twang.
well, I mean, that's
that
like-
more Kone
that was-
twang.
I don't
That's
think
like the classicest movie showdown ever.
That's
So-
true.
And it's like the star has like those
And-
4 points, and they're all standing
5
at the-
points. 5 points, sorry.
Oh, that's
But
my
yeah,
bad.
but everyone's standing on different
like
points.
Yeah, of the star, and they're all like looking at each other. So
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's only like one thing.
It was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, I didn't have like a huge issue with
It
it.
was
Just like
if they used
It's
the
more
good,
like,
the bad,
oh,
and the
okay.
ugly theme, I
I
probably
thought,
would have been like,
he's like,
I would have been like,
Yeah.
rolling my eyes. But
Okay.
No, they
they
actually.
didn't focus too much on it.
yeah, it's like a
unfortunately.
yeah.
My only main issue is that there's sometimes where like the animation looks a little weird, just a little bit. There's a scene where like Puss falls out of like a sewer into water, and the water looked like it was just a weird like splash. It was like he hit the water and then he was just gone. And like that might, I don't know, but
You know.
my main issue is more like it's a little fast pace,
Okay.
like, just like a little more quiet moments. But
Yeah,
whatever.
There were a lot of like points where they could have. I mean, there was a nice one where like he was getting shaved by Kitty. That was like a more like soft, like slower paced scene. Not much action going on, but
Yeah.
there's a lot more of those that could have been put in. But they had tons of montages that were still very fast paced. But it was like showing that a lot of time had passed.
Yeah.
So they could have added a little bit more, but.
So the film's trailer, there's a moment where like a soft pause has her paw on his shoulder and says like having one life means it's truly special. And I was waiting for that scene, but it doesn't appear in the movie. Like it's like the scene where
But that's kind of the whole point.
I'm
of
sure
the
it's like a
movie, too.
deleted.
yeah, it's like a
thing or
deleted
something.
scene,
Probably,
but
yeah.
that nice like just
That's
quiet
what
moments
I
are
don't like about trailers, that they're like, okay, now I'm waiting for the scene that I saw in the trailer to happen. You know.
it's more like quiet moments. I mean like literal quiet, like almost like pauses between. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a smidge too fast, like a hair. I like this movie. Like I really liked it.
Yeah,
like,
I like it too.
it was very charming. It was just good time.
There were memes going around that was like,
It's a very memeable movie.
yeah,
for sure.
that was like Avatar, because Avatar Way of Water had been out for a few months, and this came out in January, I believe, right?
I think it was
Or
Christmas.
Christmas time? Okay.
yeah.
And so it came out around the same time as Avatar Way of Water, and it's just like, basically it had like better ratings on Rotten Tomatoes than Avatar Way of Water, so people were like, the cat movie's better than the blue cat movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think partly it is shorter than Avatar Way of Water.
Yeah.
That's true.
And,
I think the Avatar by James Cameron movies definitely could be less long.
Yeah, it's Dancing with Wolves, but with blue cat people on a distant planet. It's just like,
You don't have to make it a whole
you
thing.
don't have to make it a
like,
whole thing.
You already did.
It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle movie.
It's a sequel. Like, sure, you can have your your sequel, and that can be a spectacle. But after that, it's gonna start to become more like you're gonna want to shorten it up and have more plot points spread throughout the different movies.
Yeah. It's like people will eat that stuff up, though, you know? It's like, it clearly was popular enough to warrant a sequel, you know? And have that make... What? You look at me like...
No, it's just... because like the first time we ever talked about doing the podcast, I want to talk about Avatar.
Uh-huh.
And you looked at me like, really? Like, you were like, oh, okay. Because the first Avatar movie came out when we were 9.
Yeah.
9. So the Avatar was like the first, like whoa, movies, man, whoa.
Yeah.
I remember being very underwhelmed when in the theater watching it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it was like kids movies and it was like Marvel movies or just like superhero movies that we were watching before we watched Avatar, and then Avatar was like,
Then Ghostbusters.
oh well, yeah, there's
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, whatever. But they're
Like it isn't like it was James Cameron's own idea.
That's
like,
true.
It's like
Yeah.
it wasn't based on anything aside from like a dream he had in college or something.
yeah. I was like that. It was. I really enjoyed it when I first watched it.
Yeah, and I still really enjoy. Just I like the world and just it's great acting and great moments and you know what? I'm a sucker for romance.
I gotcha.
Speaking of romance, in this film, Puss in Soft Paws, I thought that was handled very well.
It was
Yeah,
very
it's
cute.
like there's actual like okay,
There's, like,
admitting fault and you know.
Chemistry. There's like flirting. It wasn't like there wasn't a weird cat kiss.
Yeah, I'm glad that you know what, you don't really notice it until like it happens and then you're mad about it.
It's
you
like
know?
how does wait what?
It's weird. Okay,
like-
I'm glad I didn't do
Listen,
that.
you
yeah.
can talk. You can walk on boots, but no lip locking. Absolutely no lip locking on my watch, sir.
I think if they like nuzzled each other or something, that would
Nuzzle,
make
yeah,
cute,
nuzzle.
Yeah, that'd be
but,
fine.
It's just like because certain movies where like a there's like a animal character and like the animal like dips like off camera and you can hear the kissing sound. It's like
Yeah.
what?
No, I'm
It's like,
glad I didn't do
you
that.
guys have
yeah.
like beaks. How are you doing that? I mean, it's a but
I'm glad that the movie dealt with dealing with like anxiety. the way it
Anxiety,
did.
Oh,
yeah.
depression.
the
That
part
one
with
scene.
Burrito
Yeah.
laying his head on
Yeah,
his
that's- oh my
stomach and
God.
calming him down. That was
He's
the
like,
best.
He's like hyperventilating and stuff. And
Like
it's
you
just,
felt him, like you
Like,
felt
you
his
knew what-
feelings.
that's why death was like you knew why Puss in Boots was so scared. You could like
You, yeah, you feel his
hyperventilating and
his heartbeat and his breathing and everything. So you feel his fear. It's very palpable.
yeah.
very
Yeah, it's just it was a very fun time, that movie.
good work, DreamWorks.
Yeah.
You done good.
Yeah, they done good. What did they make before, like right before?
I think the
Puss in
bad
Boots?
guys,
Bad guys.
which
Okay.
I thought was really good too.
Okay.
I had not seen that.
It's like a kid heist movie kind of with like animals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun, great style of animation in that too. Very not DreamWorks' usual
Really.
character designs.
Okay.
They're going in like a kind of a more
Experiment.
yeah. Recently, they're kind of doing
okay.
like Puss in Boots looks nothing like the other Shrek movies.
No.
No.
Oh
like,
no.
Like
And
like,
I'm happy about that.
like-
That's so good.
because in Shrek 2, like Puss in Boots looks like a cat.
Yeah.
He looks like a realistic cat, kind of.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you
A
know.
little bit.
But in this
On
one,
his hind legs.
he's just a cartoon cat,
Yeah.
which I think works much better.
Yeah, it works. I was just like, when I was watching Shrek 2 with the mindset of Last Wish, I was just like, he looks very odd. But he works within like the context of like the animation style of Shrek 2.
Yeah.
But like I was just like, with that in mind, I was just like, that's not the Puss in Boots I was expecting, because I was so like used
Yeah.
to seeing the promotional material and memes for Last Wish that it kind of like felt out of place just in this day and age, you know?
Yeah.
Also, since we're doing spoilers, like the very ending of the film has them going far, far away. Mm-hmm. Do you want the next Shrek film to have this style of animation, or like more the classic Shrek look?
It depends if they're like, man, it depends if it works for Shrek,
Yeah.
which is gonna be it's gonna be risky, but I'm sure if they're willing to like take that risk, they can pull it off. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I don't know, but it's Shrek 5 is happening. Apparently,
It is.
It's
Well, they teased it, so it's
of course it
happening,
is.
man.
Yeah.
Why would it not happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely got people interested in the Shrek world again.
Yeah, because of Puss in Boots. It's like,
After
Yeah.
Shrek
oh,
4, whatever the last
After
one
like
was.
forever after, I think.
that
people
one was.
just-
I mean, that was better than the third one.
That was
Yeah.
definitely better than the third one. Yeah.
But I still
But
don't
at
remember
a recent
exactly.
point-
I remember there was like Warrior Princess Fiona, and there was
Oh,
like
yeah.
like the dwarf guy.
It's a
whatever.
fat Puss in Boots, just like
Yeah.
can't do anything. He's like
Yeah. So anyway, I just
cute.
I don't remember much from that. It wasn't my favorite, but I'm definitely more interested now in Shrek 5 now that we watched Puss in Boots 2.
Yeah.
It definitely sparked my interest again. So should we go on to the last one?
Oh,
what's your
ratings.
rating?
Oh,
Like,
rating.
How'd you
Rating.
out of 5?
I'd say like a 4 probably.
Okay.
What'd you give it?
3.5.
Same. I gave it
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Very
It's-
enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Our final film.
Westworld by
What?
Michael Crichton,
Yeah.
starring Yul Brynner and James Brolin and another guy I can't remember the name of.
Scary guy in black hat. Who
No, Yul Brynner's the guy in the black hat.
Oh.
He's the gunslinger. Yeah.
Okay. Who's the guy you can't think of the name?
He's the guy with the mustache.
Oh, I don't
He's
know.
yeah.
Guy with porn stash.
It's a Western stash.
It's a Western stash. It's fine. 70s Chicago stash.
Love it. All right, so explain the plot.
Okay, so basically it takes place in the near future where... Okay, so Westworld takes place in the near future where a theme park has been set up to entertain the masses with 3 different sections of time displacement. One is Westworld, which is like Frontierland, basically, 1880s. One is
Ancient Rome.
Ancient Rome, basically. Rome, what was it, like Roman land or something like that? Whatever. And the last one was medieval land.
Yeah.
And these 2 guys, one played by James Brolin, and his friend, I can't remember the name of the act. I don't know the name of the actor, but they both go to, his name is John, I believe. No, the James Brolin character's name is John. So they're traveling there, and things are going pretty well. Things are going as it's people have the experience of like people are playing cowboy and stuff, and it's just like it's all going according to plan. But the
All
thing is,
fun and games.
all fun games, but behind the scenes, things are beginning to deteriorate.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong with the robots that are posing as people planted within the theme parks to pose as the characters that that pertain to that time period, like a queen or a gunslinger or a sheriff, or a knight. And so basically it's the guys in charge of running things, kind of like a station for TV, are kind of just trying to figure out what is going on, and trying to figure out what's going wrong with these robots before it gets too out of hand, which it does eventually.
Surprise.
And it's great. I love it so much. And basically, yeah, it's there's one particular robot that steals the show, in particular because he's written that way, is the gunslinger played by Yul Brynner. Ironically, I think they picked him because, well, I know the fact that they picked him was because he was in Magnificent Seven, and so that he would be a good placeholder for like this antagonistic person.
Yeah.
He ends up being like the main antagonist of like. He became like part of the promotional material. He was like a big part of like what makes the film tense, with his performance as the gunslinger. Yeah, I think it's just a really cool movie. So, what do you guys think of it?
What do you think, Parker?
It was definitely a 70s movie.
Yes.
I think we can all agree on this.
Yeah.
It is a 70s movie. It is. So he said it's in the near future. It's in the near future of the 70s.
Yeah.
In an alternate near future of the 70s, because everyone looks like they're dressed for the 70s.
There's like flying cars, but there's flying
like
transporters, but there's also like
like a
big old
hovercraft thing.
brick
Yeah.
computers.
I feel like I should have it came out in the 70s, so it's like obviously they're gonna be like the future from the viewpoint of the 70s.
Yeah, like what they thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely like a period piece, I guess.
Yeah.
But it also is kind of in the heyday of Western films.
Yes.
Filmmaking. So everyone involved, I'm sure, loved Westerns and loved just the
medieval films
and all that. So it was a lot of fun to see them put their passion into those kinds of eras. And I'm sure they had the sets for them just lying around.
I mean, they made so many westerns at that time. They had just towns all over save so much money on this movie.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was but it was I wasn't really sure what was going on in the movie. Like at the start I was like, okay, cuz it's like a robot Jurassic Park.
Yes, basically.
The same guy wrote the book.
Yes.
And directed the movie.
Yeah, Michael Crichton.
Michael Crichton wrote the book for Jurassic Park. Yeah.
And so it's basically the same kind of plot. People go to a theme park, they think it's all fun and games, and then everything goes to shit. But for this one, like at least for the Jurassic Park one, you kind of understand that there was a deliberate subterfuge going on in the background, whereas this one, it's just kind of a vague computer virus that never really gets fleshed out at all. So it's a little confusing. You're like, why are the robots trying to kill people now? But they just do, and that's the fun of it.
I feel like it was a sign of like, it was kind of a prototype of like Michael Crichton trying to get the idea down. It was like a first draft for the idea, and then he was able to flesh it out more with Jurassic Park. He was able to perfect it more with Jurassic Park, but this is more of like a kind of like the early stages of that idea of like the theme park that goes to hell. One thing I do appreciate about the movie is that it does like, I love the fact that it combines science fiction and Western.
Oh, I love that part.
It's so fucking good. I love it so much. And seeing like this high tech, like these high tech facilities, well, high tech in terms of the 70s. 70s, like
blank
these,
hallways,
like with like but it's like it's so cool though with the flashing lights and like the monitors and like the guys in lab suits. Like
there's the cowboy clothes going on. It's like
bringing like bodies from like Western scenarios.
Just whole horses are sitting on tables.
Combative combative genres.
There's a computer that just has a bunch of triangles on the screen.
Yeah, it's like you don't really know what that is, but it's
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah.
It's science.
What I really do like is that it does definitely have the feel of a Carpenter film.
It does have that kind of.
From the opening scene, it's just like, oh my god, I can tell. Like it just feels like anytime now Carpenter score could like come up and it's like have like the droning prog score, you know?
Yeah.
And it just John Carpenter I believe was a fan of this movie because he had Nick Castle, the guy who played Michael Myers in the original Halloween, because he was just like, he told Nick Castle just like, you don't have a character, you're not a character, just like walk, just walk blankly. It's like Nick Castle's like, oh, I gotta be given I bet he was like, I gotta be given some direction, and John Carpenter was probably like, all right, then like walk like Yul Brynner in Westworld.
Westworld. That guy is just cowboy Michael Myers.
Exactly. It ultimately evolves, or like it transmogrifies into a monster movie by the end.
That was great.
It's great.
A slasher movie.
By that point.
Because this gunslinger is he's just impossible to stop. He just keeps walking towards him and is just gonna kill him. And so
they upgraded him with a bunch of new shit.
So he's basically unstoppable.
He's super hearing, super sight.
He's like a Terminator, basically. At the end of this movie,
pre-Terminator. So I enjoyed this movie a lot. I think it looks gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it's a great looking movie.
There's a great shot toward the beginning of like the pilot of the ship, and it's like his sunglasses are just
yes.
I love those kind of shots. That shot, or like the eyes of the robots are just like that, just that little light. Oh man,
it reminded me a lot of Blade Runner, where they have like the kind of shiny eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
But I will say, like, I just thought of this now. Like, I'm trying to think about like my problem. It feels like a movie directed by a book writer.
I see.
Definitely,
like.
yes.
The first, like, holy shit, it was slow.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Holy
it was
shit
it was
like,
slow. Yeah.
This was the shortest movie of the three that we watched, and it was the slowest feeling one of the ones we watched.
Okay. I get the idea. Like, you have to show what the park is like normally.
Yeah.
You have to. That's like, so you know why it's going wrong.
Yeah.
The problem is like, hey, you want to walk over there? Okay. They walk over there. They go inside.
They're playing cards. And then a fight breaks out.
You come back to like people typing on the computer.
And it just kind of happens again and again. And it's like,
we get it.
Well, yeah, but there's no like indication like early on like something's like. What was the first sign that something was really wrong? Like, I'm trying to.
I think the first sign was like that.
The rattlesnake.
I think the rattlesnake, was
Like-
the first indication that something was wrong, and that was like an hour in.
that was
Well,
like-
there were people. There were androids that were just
Not
breaking
responding.
down,
not responding. They were just like, there's mess.
Or
yeah,
there was
like,
there was an attempted seduction, basically.
oh yeah, the
rape.
attempted seduction.
that-
Where it's like, what do you mean I'm out? It's like,
And
yeah.
this girl slaps him, but is a robot, and they're like, "Wait a minute, she was supposed
I'm
to."
going to come
be
back
seduced."
to that.
Okay.
I-
That was
but
weird.
so, but I'm trying to remember. So, and I will say, so the androids are very inconsistent to me.
Okay.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
so they're very humanoid. They're very. I mean, you can barely tell them apart aside from like their hands, and sometimes they kind of like awkward movements a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But like, so there's a scene like he said where like, this guy is trying to bang a robot because know he
That's
can.
what you do.
That's what you do.
And she says no, which he's like, what? He's like, by the way, I would not go to this theme park. It looks boring as shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what do we do?
Yeah, James
They're
Brolin's
like-
friend is just like, this is kind of boring. It's like, what'd you expect? It's Westworld. It's like, it's supposed to be authentic, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's not.
But-
It's not a comfortable room.
I feel like
But
it's like,
that's very similar to kind of the beat that Michael Crichton has in like Jurassic Park, where it's like people don't want reality; they want what they expect, which is
Dinosaurs.
like monster dinosaurs, not just like the actual dinosaurs. They don't want just boring animals; they want monsters.
But there's also the scene where like they go up to like the gate and there's nothing to see because the dinosaur's not there. So like,
Yeah,
where is it? Is it coming? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I like the idea where like you have to get into the park to really get it. But like, I say, and then like when everything goes wrong, like the robots shut down except for that one. It's like there need to be a little more like rules, like understanding like what.
and this is way more death happened in this than in
Yes.
Jurassic Park.
yeah, it was like,
everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
Literally everyone dies. You don't know if this guy actually gets out because
No.
it just
Or if it
cuts
just
to
starves to
credits.
death. Yeah.
Because like he goes into this dungeon, he finds this one girl, he's like, oh my gosh, it's a person.
There's some water. It's like,
Here's
no, I
some
don't want
water.
water.
She's like, no, I don't want water. And then
she,
she
like, malfunctions. Yeah.
malfunctions. She's
That's-
actually an android.
That's interesting. I was she sentient? Because she said she must have known that she can't drink water because she's an android.
Yeah.
So like, does that mean that the androids are
I'm
alive?
not sure. Well, I mean, it's like, I didn't catch that. If I'm gonna have to have a repeat viewing of that, just to,
Because like the fact that she's like, no, don't give me water, and then she died. Like,
I feel like there's like some androids are built like there's different models of androids.
yeah,
And some are built to like take in fluids, and some aren't. You know.
yeah. I feel like that could have been explored more because like earlier I was like, was that a real person I just shot? Like, no, it's not. Like, but it's like it's really real. Except I feel like, but I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. I mean, I love the look. I love the concept. The idea of like this Western park, and I like the idea of like different. Well, like actually, like while we were watching, we talked about like I'd love to see like a samurai world or like
Yeah,
or like
something
a early
different.
gangster world, like some because like
The West just seems really boring. Like you can go to like Deadwood, South Dakota or something like that.
I feel like what people
and-
were wanting
and-
was like to play cowboy, basically. You know, be a John
Yeah.
Wayne. You know.
Yeah, but I don't know. They were like, oh, it's the most expensive theme park in the world. It's $1,000 a day, which I thought was hilarious because it's the 70s, so it's
Yeah,
probably
70s
way
and
more
plus
than
for
that
inflation, yeah.
uh,
It's
like a
for
million,
inflation. But anyway, because the Star Wars theme park hotel just went defunct, which is basically like Westworld but with like actual people.
Oh my god.
And like it just went defunct just recently, and that
Really?
was like $4,000 for like it's like $1,000 a night basically, or it's like $2,000 a night. It's a 2-day experience. Is $4,000 for a room.
Jesus.
So it's ridiculous.
we got to have money.
You've
So-
got to have money.
Yeah.
So yeah, Disney just dropped the ball way too hard on that
Yeah. But
because there's no way people would spend that kind of money. But
yeah.
yeah, and of course with Westworld, I think like of course like Roman world is basically just fucking. That's like,
Yeah,
That's
it's just
basically
like-
what it seemed like.
yeah.
And then like the night world is kind of like you get
Just
to
like
bang a queen.
yeah, and then
in
like
Westworld, you
fights
can-
of people.
And then in Westworld you can prostitute.
Well,
Get in a
there's
bar
like
and brawl.
there's like duels and stuff in the medieval
Yeah.
world. But I also like Ben mentioned he would like to do the medieval world, but then I noticed that every time they're eating and doing anything, there's always this medieval music in the background,
yeah,
and that would
the-
just
the
drive
flute
me
music,
nuts.
yeah.
That's a good, is the music in this park? That's an what? That's an interesting question because they
Oh,
might be
whether,
like a band.
whether it's diegetic or non-diegetic.
Yeah, like
don't
is there a
know.
band there playing?
I don't think they thought about this very much.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things that you don't really think they think about in the movie, like
I feel like it's more like stylistic
Yeah.
choices rather than thinking about logic, you know?
yeah.
like this film has awesome ideas.
Because we was like, okay, so like the guns are heat sensitive, so they won't fire at living organisms.
But then
so,
all the
like, what about swords? Well,
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
And also, what about bar fights and stuff, like getting hit on the head from
Yeah.
a bar fight, or like also the gunslinger has a gun that is able to kill people.
Yeah,
So
it's like,
why are the
why?
robots given ones that can kill people,
Yeah.
but the people don't get ones that can kill other people?
yeah,
Like, what's up with that? So
yeah. Else, yeah.
it definitely makes me interested in watching the Westworld TV show.
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah.
Uh-huh. Because I heard that was really good. The
Yeah,
first
yes.
2 seasons were really good. All right, so was any more thoughts on Westworld, or was that about it?
I think great idea, great visuals, great just a wonderful idea. It could have used a rewrite maybe, but overall, yeah, I think it's a solid, fun little movie.
Okay.
How about you, Parker? Oh, what's my rating? Duh. Hold on, let me check my rating. I forgot. I think
I think I gave it 2.5.
I did. I did give it
Yep.
2.5.
I give it 4.
What did you think about it?
Oh,
Or
I
last-
thought it was a
thoughts?
wonderful film. I think it's just like it was the great blueprint that would go on to like make a more fleshed out Jurassic Park in that regard of like ideas. But on its own, I feel like it's still a very well done film.
I mean, for the time, for the time, I think it was definitely a cool concept, but I don't think it really aged all that great. But I definitely think that there's parts of it that, I mean, it's pre-Blade Runner, it's pre all these other movies that came after it, so I think that it might have inspired some people for, and just kind of been like a trial run for the 80s. And so I think it was a great kind of step in that direction. But I mean, for me, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 or a 3.
Okay.
Like Ben, maybe a 2. But it wasn't my favorite movie. It was definitely very, very slow, especially at the start. But I mean, a lot of 70s movies are. So yeah, that's about what I would think. It's not my favorite, but it definitely makes me interested in watching a more modern take on the story.
Okay.
Also, great score. I forgot to mention that.
The score is amazing. Yeah.
It's
It was so freaky. Like,
Yeah, it was like
him being chased by Yul Brynner.
It was like
Yeah.
it's like more like weird sounds.
Weird
but-
Yeah,
synth and mixed
It was
with
like a
yeah,
mechanical sound, which
Yeah.
definitely fits.
fits with the movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just want to
Just
get
like
that
a-
out there. I forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like clock ticks and like
Wonderful
weird. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh my god, I
It's-
love
it's-
it. That's what would add to the Carpenter kind of feel. You know?
Yeah, yeah, it's very minimal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it for Movie Goblins this episode.
Oh shit!
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
over
of course,
to
man.
Be on there.
Parker's Patreon. Go check it out. Oh wait. Go give him money.
Just find me in the streets. Give me
Yeah,
money.
just throw money at him. All right. Bye everybody.
Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.